Okay, then, to our next story, the propriety, that is the correctness or otherwise, of instituting a 6-year single term for a president or a governor in our country has refused to go away. Former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar berated the House of Representatives for rejecting the bill proposing a 6-year single term for both the president and the governor. The bill, sponsored by a member of the House of Reps, representing Idato North and South Federal Constituency of Imo State, Ikenga Ugochinyere, and 33 others, was rejected in a voice vote. Atiku Abubakar had suggested the constitutional amendment, which included that the presidency must be rotated between the North and the South.
Well, I think for me, it was too hasty to reject that proposal.
Okay.
I think it's reading through the proposal. I think there are some things that we can that could be of benefit to Nigeria. For example, they talk about dividing a 6-year single term has its own advantages.
Yeah.
At least you know that once a president comes to power, or the governors,
there is no thought about the second term.
About second term, which usually distracts elected officers, you know. And the fact, usually when you have a 4-year term, after 2 years, they've already started politicking about what comes up.
Yeah.
And the people are the ones that will suffer for such things. So if there is a 6-year single term, you know that you can face your job and you can do it without any fear that you need to please some godfathers or some godmothers who may not want you to come back for a second term.
Except that we elected to copy the American system.
Yeah. So now, if we
even if not properly.
Besides, they also talk about the rotation, dividing the country into 6 geopolitical zones, for example, and that each geopolitical zone should present a candidate and it should go around. I also think this will take care of all this, it is the North, it is the South, and all of that. And some people, and some people also thinking that they are being marginalized and all of that. It will not be the responsibility of every geopolitical zone to come up with their best
foot forward.
Yes, to achieve whatever it is. So I think it has some merits. There could be demerits, but I think it shouldn't have been thrown away just like that.
Yeah, Yusuf, we're doing a lot of thinking. Well, our business here is to mold opinion, so...
Yeah, I think it makes no sense to me, really.
What does not? Okay.
Rejecting it makes no sense, absolutely. It doesn't make any sense to me. See, look at Nigeria. Economically, I look at Nigeria, I look at the wastages that often accompany our 4 years, periodic elections.
Okay.
So for someone who proposed a single term of 6 years, there are so many beautiful things in that, suggestion. And don't forget, this is not the first time. It was first mooted by the then President Goodluck Jonathan. And it was people in the progressive elements that, rejected it, thinking that Jonathan wanted to use it as a ploy to have another, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. You remember that time? But take a look at it. You will know that there are so many benefits. When a president or governor comes in, there's none of them that can spend 2 years in office without thinking about the election. They start, politicking for the next election by the time they approach the second year. So every appointment, every decision of the occupier of the seat of a governor or president is already preoccupied with how to return to the same seat. So at the end of the day, the system suffers because most times, what you need to do, you may not be able to do because the law of nature says that you take care of yourself first. So now, if you are relieved of that kind of tension, the system will benefit. Now, for people suggesting that you have vice presidents across, the political zone and all of that, see, maybe we should take a look at it, because this perpetual tension between is Yoruba now, is the Igbo, is the Fulani, we need to de-escalate it. Yes, we need to. And each time when a Northerner is in power, you see all then when it's turn of a Southerner, you see this. Is that what we need? We need development, not politicking all through our lives. And when you take a look at that proposal again, you will know that there are so many benefits. Why do we waste humongous money? Now, part of the provision says that if you do 60 years election, we will do governor and president election, everything in the same day. And that will reduce the kind of wastages. Don't forget that we always lock down the Nigerian system, all in the name of conducting elections. In spite of all of this, we always end up with rancorous, elections, things that people will still start complaining. They will flood all the courts with all sorts of, petitions and all of that. We need to find a way to bring some sanity to the way we, recruit leadership in Nigeria. And I think this is a beautiful one that some people don't seem to want to see.
It makes you wonder at a time like this if we are too far away from home.
Yeah, because for me, I also think that proposal takes care of the restructuring that we've been clamoring for in a way. Because part of the restructuring, part of the agitation of those talking about restructuring is to allow, to ensure that everybody has a sense of belonging in this country that we call Nigeria. And if you amend the Constitution to reflect the fact that everybody from all the geopolitical zones can actually present a candidate for presidency and occupy that position, it means all these minority groups that have been agitating about them not being given enough recognition in the country.
Sorry about that. Go on.
Can also be well taken care of. You get it? So, and also the fact, the recommendation of 2 vice presidents also in that proposal, I also think it makes sense. Also, there are also some clarifications in the proposal that, for example, as a governor, if a governor dies, for example, in office and the deputy takes over, that deputy cannot attempt to seek a re-election. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So I think also that will make both the deputy governor and the governors, or the president and the vice president, to work together, because you know that it's like a joint ticket. You know that if this person misses it, if he goes, you don't even have the power to occupy that position, except for you to just finish that tenure.
Yeah.
And you can't say you want to. So all these arguments about somebody wants somebody there so that you can take over a position, those ones have been taken care of. So I think for me that proposal has a lot of merits. However, the demerit I also see is this. If in a country like ours, where we know corruption is very, very deep, if you think also that I just have a term of 6 years and I don't have to come back, you can as well also do whatever you want to do within those 6 years. You can wreck the economy, you can wreck the state, But then I ask myself again, how many of our leaders do we actually re-elect?
And in all honesty, how many people perform in their second term?
Exactly.
You realize that
relative
system,
to what we are saying.
No, from experience, how many people perform in their second term? You get what I'm saying? So when you take a look at it, then you now look at, okay, is it because this idea is coming from Atiku Abubakar? Sometimes there are times you have to do away with the messenger and go with the message.
No, I don't think so. I think because they also don't want it to affect them.
No.
They are doing it for self-interest.
Just a minute. It was a private bill sponsored by the Imo State.
But
he proposed it.
Yeah. It scaled first reading. So at what stage?
It's the second reading. They didn't even consider it for second reading. It was when it was about to be presented for the second reading that they cast a voice vote to say they don't want.
But the truth is that it is the same bill. It's in the Senate. And this time around, I don't think it's a private something. I think from my last checks, about 50 senators, that have signed up, to propose it.
But then it won't even still scale through.
We don't know. We don't know. But hopefully somebody might just develop interest.
2/3 of 36 states.
Exactly. So, well.
I don't know. It is said that there's a difference between a good sounding reasoning and a reasoning that sounds good.
Without the presidency developing interest in that kind of proposal, without a strong, backing, it's very, very difficult. Because when you leave people to take actions on a matter that affects them, they will certainly do their own bidding. That is what you see at. You are seeing at.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, I remember that the first German Chancellor, Otto von Bismarck, had said, politics is not an exact science. But experts have said, yes, but it's a behavioral science. So you are looking at the behavior of our politicians. Yes.
Yeah.
Are they thinking the country?
Well, I think
thinking self?
Yeah, I think every human being thinks self in a way. But when you are appointed as a...
First law of nature is self-preservation.
Exactly, self-preservation. But, when you are appointed to represent the country, you just need to put aside your self-interest and look at the overall interest of the people. So I think that is what our own politicians need to do more.
More of
that, yeah.
All right. We'll take a breather now and go for a commercial break. We should be back shortly. Please stay with us. Thank you.